So why are they so useful? The reason why they're useful is because remember the scale that we were looking at? Humans here from 20 to 20,000. Try putting that onto one scale. It is next to impossible to do that without an exponential increase. So the graph would look something like that. Whoop, it will go up. And that's hard to do. So musicians and mathematicians, actually a lot of musicians in olden times used to also be mathematicians. They had to come up with a way to put things on a linear scale for most people to understand. So what did they do? They put it on a log scale. So instead of using a linear to linear scale, the musical staff, and I'll show you how it works, is actually, when you look at your staff, look at this. The scale of these are actually logarithmic. So we call a musical staff a semi-logarithmic scale, where your timekeeping, the timekeeping on your scales, that is linear, but your frequency, when you put it on a scale, it is actually logs of those values, or else it wouldn't work. This is why logs are so important. And what is this graph called? It's called a semi-log graph. Why is it called a semi-log graph? Because one scale is log and one scale is linear. That's why it's called a semi-log graph. If both of them were linear, what would you call it? A regular graph. If both were logarithms, what would you call that? A log graph. If you notice this, and we talked about an octave, right? An octave has how many notes? Good, starting from A, going to A again, right? Every octave is log of each other. Say C0, what's the value of C0 in the red? 32. What should be the double of 32? 64-ish? Look at that. What should be the double of 65? 65.4. 130. Yeah? What's the double of 130? What's the double of 260? What's the double of 520? What's the double of 1,000? What is it, 45, 46? 2,000, right? What's the double of 2,000? 4,000. Ta-da! You now have a log scale for your notes on the piano. Right, and so now comes the extra credit opportunity. These are all the notes. For 10 points, I would like you to plot every single one of them on a linear to linear scale and also on a semi-log scale. You do not have to do this, but this will earn you 10 extra credit points on your homework. So if you've missed an assignment or if you didn't do so well on an assignment, this will get you 10 points. And I want a physical copy. And I can tell you there is this graph that I've provided. However, I think this doesn't fit all of the notes. So you have to be very careful in how you define them. And each block in this graph is one scale. So for example, if you were starting at 10, this would be 100. No, actually, I think you should start at 1 maybe. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Or however you want to do that. So then this would be 2, and this would be 20. So if you plot all of these keyboard notes on that scale and bring it to me by the last day, you will receive 10 extra, not just this, but both. So 5 points for doing this one and 5 points for the linear scale. You will get 10 bonus extra points. Yeah. I want you to graph them on a linear to linear graph. So a linear graph will get you 5 points. And a semi-log graph will get you 5 points. Even if you don't do both, you should at least try one, and that will give you 5 points.